You fought during kind of the golden era of the light heavyweight division. You fought some of the best ever. You had a trilogy with Tito. You fought Anderson. If you didn't have Forrest Griffin's skill set and you had to adopt a skill set of your contemporaries, someone you fought during that time, who would you pick and why?
Oh man, that's a very difficult question, and I don't appreciate hard questions. They make me think. I mean, my hair might catch fire. I don't know. I think I would probably say a better version of my skill set, or I would take a little bit of what Randy had, and a little bit of. I would take like Randy's wrestling, and I would take Tito's power, or excuse me, Chuck's power, and I would take I would just take parts of every fighter and just build a perfect Franken fighter. Yeah. I would take my good looks though. That's the real key.
They can't teach you that. We got one over here.
Hey Forrest, followed your career since The Ultimate Fighter. Just wanted to say, which fight would you go back and redo in your career, and which fight was your favorite?
Which fight would I redo or undo? Probably the Anderson one. I mean, realistically, it was just it's a rough performance, it's a rough moment. What I'll say about that is, so that was like one of the worst moments of my life. My parents died, but losing that fight was way worse. No, so I'm serious. I'm thankful I had that moment, because, and I'm not even kidding you, everything, it's really difficult to scare me or embarrass me, or I can stand up in front of any audience and I'd be like, yeah, it won't be worse than that. There's nothing more embarrassing that'll ever happen. I don't care. Which fight was my favorite fight or best fight, or what was the other question? My favorite fight. I got to go back to the Stefan fight. Yeah. Turns out sometimes not being in great shape makes for a great fight. If you're just equally out of shape, it's great.
So UFC 300 is today.
It is.
What are you looking forward to on that card?
It is? No.
It is.
All right, so he was talking about the golden age of the 205-pound division. I'm definitely most interested in seeing Jamal Hill and Alex Pereira. They're two striking specialists. They've got long reaches. They've both got great power. And I think, Jamal Hill, he's just awkward and unusual and unorthodox, and he strikes some weird angles. And Pereira has got power. I don't know, he was just punched in the power cube if you guys saw this. He's got power that's just that's just, as they say, God-given. You can't train that kind of power. You can improve power, but it's just different,
Yeah. And so, wait, where are you watching the fights?
You're supposed to know that one.
I'm just kidding. I was just leading it up. Anyways, for
anybody who's no, seriously, where am I watching?
For anybody who's interested, we're actually doing a UFC watch party with Forrest at the Center City Grill tonight. So.
What grill?
Center City, I think, or City Center. What is it? Is it City Center or City?
City Center.
City Center Grill. There you go.
Grill. It's UFC 300. It's only the best UFC there's ever been, ever. No big deal. Just not overselling it or anything, but it is really going to be awesome.
That's awesome. And so the Performance Institute.
Yeah.
For folks maybe in the audience that don't know what the Performance Institute is, can you give us a little bit of background?
I feel bad for those people. No. It's kind of a long story, so I'll give you some setup. Around 2014 and 15, the UFC was doing everything right, but they realized that they didn't have a lot of influence over the product at the end of the day. What's the product? The product is the actual fights. So they were on TV, they had the right TV deals, they had the right sponsorships and partnerships, they were doing the right media buys, but athletes were getting hurt. And if you think about a guy there was actually TJ Dillashaw, he had 2 amazing fights, he was on top of the world, he had a shoulder surgery, he was gone for 14 months. So then, look, everybody's forgotten about him, And then you have to pump money into him again and try to build him again and make him go out and be on shows and whatnot, right? So the amount of times you can fight for your brand makes a big difference. And then you have people missing weight. So here you are, you sell people a bill of goods, they buy it, and then the day later, the fight they wanted to see isn't going to happen because somebody got sick or didn't make weight or, you know, some combination of the two. And then, you know what companies really don't like to do? Give people their money back. And that's what you got to do when a fight like that falls off. So they were like, what do? We have to influence the way our athletes train. We have to influence the way they eat. And that's why they created the Performance Institute. They brought in experts in physical therapy, sports medicine, dietetics, training load management, sports science, and even technical training. And they built the canon of how you train for modern day MMA, right? So they kind of broke it down scientifically, weight class by weight class, and they created a template for the way to train MMA, for how to eat for your weights, to basically, you know, give science to give what the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball have to the UFC roster. So the UFC Performance Institute sends a couple dietitians, performance chefs. Why are they performance chefs? We just call everything performance, basically. They just love the word. I don't know. A couple chefs. They're really good at making nutritious, healthy food that helps you perform well. And then physical therapists, occupational therapists, people that just so you are your best at your fight, right? So our job is done by the time the athlete enters the octagon, but we want to do everything to make them, or the product, if we're being realistic, right? The product of the fight as good as possible. So they have as much, they have the maximum opportunity to perform and show what they can do and show their hard work. And we want to extend their careers so they can fight longer. And if you think about a guy like Michael Bisping, right? I kind of thought his career was over, but he got that second half of his career. He became a star, he became a champion, he defended the belt. He made a lot of money, and he also made the UFC a lot of money because he had a brand. He was very famous at that time, right? So if you can extend an athlete's career, everybody can make more money. If you can allow them to fight more often, if you can help them perform better, they'll get more bonus money, they'll get more sponsorship money. The sport itself will do better because the fights are better, the end product is better. So that's kind of long-winded as saying is we make people better at stuff. We make people better at stuff. I think we should change our model.